Hi, I'm Emily Bice with the Ohio Society of CPAs. Learning how to manage money and make responsible financial decisions is important for everyone. For students, it's even more important. Understanding how to use and manage money early in life paves the way for a lifetime of financial success. That's why the Ohio CPA Foundation created a brand new financial literacy program for elementary students called FETCH, which stands for Financial Education Teaches Children Healthy Habits. FETCH provides members of the Ohio Society of CPAs with an exciting opportunity to teach students basic financial literacy concepts like budgeting, saving, and spending through a fun and interactive, competitive game.
The purpose of this video is to teach you how to facilitate FETCH and prepare you for your classroom experience. I'm Chris Dean, and I've been volunteering for the Society's classroom program for 9 years. I've witnessed firsthand the impact and importance of teaching students critical financial skills. That's why I'm excited to help expand financial literacy education throughout Ohio through the new FETCH program. This game is a lot of fun. Targeted to 5th and 6th grade students, FETCH teaches children about budgeting, saving, and spending through an exciting and interactive dog-themed board game. Students form competitive teams for a romp through a dog park filled with financial risks and rewards. In order to facilitate FETCH, 3 to 4 volunteers are needed in each classroom. All volunteers do not have to be society members, so recruit your friends and coworkers to be part of your volunteer team. If you prefer to be paired with other volunteers from your area instead, you can indicate this on your registration form. You can sign up to volunteer for FETCH online at cpasintheclassroom.com. Each volunteer will have a different role in the classroom. It's best to select one volunteer team member to serve as the moderator for facilitating the discussion and the game. This volunteer can also move the game pieces around the dog park. A second volunteer can record the team's transactions on the group savings account registers that have been posted at the front of the room, and give a recap on where each team stands at the end of each round. The third volunteer can assist the leader and students throughout the event by working with the teams during their turns to make decisions and choices to help keep the game moving. Volunteer roles can be determined in advance of the classroom visit. The Society coordinates classroom participation for FETCH with schools throughout Ohio. Volunteer opportunities are available at schools that have registered to participate through the Ohio Society. You can take FETCH to the school of your choice by working with the classroom teacher and directing them to cpasintheclassroom.com to register. Each volunteer team will be matched with a classroom in their area that is registered to participate. Volunteers will be notified of their classroom assignment within 2 weeks of the event date and will be given the teacher's contact information to finalize event arrangements. The program requires approximately 2 hours from start to finish in the classroom. The Ohio Society will provide each volunteer team with everything needed for a successful event. Once you have been assigned to a classroom, FETCH Game Kit will be sent to the leader of each volunteer team. A complete FETCH Game Kit includes one large dog park poster, which you'll post in the front of the classroom, 6 small dog park posters for each of the 6 student teams, 6 savings account register worksheets, 1 for each team, 1 pair of dice, game pieces, wolf cards, expense cards, inventory item cards. There are 4 inventory items: a leash, collar, bowl, and bone. Your kit includes 6 of each for a total of 24 cards, 6 Top Dog pencils for the game winners, and 1 FETCH completion certificate for you to copy in advance and give to each of the students after they play the game. Each volunteer team will also receive an instruction manual and volunteer discussion guide. You will want to read through the instructions in advance to gain a thorough understanding of the rules and be familiar with the required materials before playing the game. The volunteer discussion guide provides suggested dialogue and discussion questions, specific instructions for different time increments, and tips for a successful classroom experience. Before fetch, each registered classroom teacher will receive a list of money management vocabulary words to discuss with students. Teachers will also be sent a vocabulary pre-test to assess their students' understanding of money management terminology before participating in fetch. During the game, students should be familiar with the financial terminology and able to understand basic accounting concepts. Throughout the game, use these vocabulary words to help reinforce their meaning. It is very important to keep track of time during the classroom visit. Plan to allow approximately 15 minutes for introductions, setup, and game instructions, 70 minutes for gameplay, and 15 minutes for post-game discussion. Exact times will vary based on classroom scheduling. Before the game begins, facilitate a brief discussion with the students about accounting and CPAs. Begin by introducing yourself and the members of your volunteer team. Tell students that you are a CPA and ask them if they know what a CPA is or does. Follow up with a brief overview of your work and why the CPA certification makes you special. Use personal examples to relate to the students. Ask them to share why they think a CPA's job is important. Ask if students know any accountants or CPAs. Next, shift the conversation topic to pets in order to transition into playing fetch. Invite students to raise their hands if they own a pet. Ask them what expenses and responsibilities are necessary for caring for the animal. Explain that some expenses for caring for a pet, like vaccinations, veterinary checkups, and food, are routine. But there are some expenses that come up unexpectedly, like when the animal is sick or injured. Then ask how all of these expected and unexpected expenses are paid, by budgeting and saving. Tell students they will be learning and using some basic saving and spending and budgeting principles by playing a fun new game called Fetch. Following the introductory discussion, divide the class into teams of 4 or 5 students each. Teachers have been asked to do this in advance, so hopefully the teams have already been determined. There can be up to 6 teams per classroom, and they should sit together in groups. Next, post the Fetch Dog Park poster at the front of the classroom where everyone can see it. Place all game pieces in the middle of the dog park. Also, tape each of the group savings account registers to the wall or chalkboard at the front of the room so all teams can see each other's balance and inventory and compare themselves to the competition. Distribute a sample-sized Fetch Dog Park poster and savings account register worksheet to each team. These items will help teams plan ahead and work together. Make certain each team has a pencil and scrap paper for calculations. Explain to students that by playing the game, they will learn how to manage money so they can purchase items for their pet dog and save enough money to pay for unpredicted expenses. Share the rules and game objectives. Remind the students that the dog park is full of risks and rewards. Let the class know that there are several particular game squares to be aware of around the board. There are 2 dog catcher squares. If a team lands on one, the team will be required to pay a fine if they have not yet purchased a leash or collar. There are 3 choice squares that allow students to select the best move for their team based on the 2 options available. There are also opportunities for teams to make donations to dog-related causes. When a team lands on one of these squares for the first time, explain to students how important it is to set aside some of their money to donate to worthy causes that benefit others. Although donations require giving of time and money, they are also very rewarding. There are squares that require teams to draw wolf cards or expense cards. Explain that wolf cards will always provide an advantage to the team, while expense cards will always cost them. Be sure to keep a copy of the Fetch instruction manual close by in case you need to refer to the rules during the game. To begin play, 1 representative from each team will have a chance to roll the dice. The team with the highest total gets to go first. Play will move clockwise from team to team around the classroom. On each team's first turn, they will select a team name and announce it to the class. A volunteer will write it on their group savings account register at the front of the class. Teams will also write their name and color on their individual savings account register. As each team gets ready to take a turn, they should choose a different team member every round to roll the dice and keep track of activity, earnings, expenses, and balance on their savings account register worksheet at their desk. Volunteers will move the game pieces around the dog park and keep track of each team's current inventory and total amount in savings on the group savings account registers at the front of the class. In addition, volunteers will help each team calculate their balance on the savings account register throughout the game. Be sure to explain how the savings account register works before gameplay begins. All teams start the game with $50 in their savings account for completing a class in obedience school. This amount is pre-printed on the savings account register. Each team's initial turn begins by placing the game piece on the start square, then rolling the dice and moving their game piece around the dog park game board. On each square there is a different opportunity. A team may get to earn, save, spend, or lose cash, or add an item to their inventory. The team may have to draw a wolf card or an expense card and do whatever it says. Whatever the team does, they should move quickly. Teams have 3 minutes to complete their turn each round. During their turn, each team must calculate their savings account balance by adding earnings or subtracting expenses. Also, each team must be sure to record their activity under the activity heading on the savings account register worksheet. They must also calculate and record their balance in the final column of the savings account register. Don't forget to audit each team's savings account register after they update it at the end of each turn. This is a great opportunity to explain what auditing is and why it is done. If a team makes a math mistake, they will be penalized $10. Once you have verified their addition or subtraction is accurate, write the team's new balance and edit the inventory items as appropriate on the group savings account register at the front of the room. This will conclude the team's turn. Round 2 and beyond. Beginning on a team's second term, a team with enough cash in their savings account may elect to purchase one inventory item. If they choose to make a purchase, they must record it in their savings account register worksheet and on the group savings account register. After this transaction is made, the team's turn is complete. All 4 inventory items have different prices. A bone costs $10, a bowl is $15, a leash costs $25, and a collar is $30. As teams buy the items, they should be given the inventory card that corresponds with their purchase. Teams' inventory items may also be tracked on the savings account register by placing a check mark beside the item once it has been purchased. Instead of making a purchase, the team may choose to roll the dice and proceed around the dog park. However, students cannot roll and purchase in the same turn unless a game square or wolf card instructs them to do so. As each team begins their turn, if their expenses are more than their balance and they have a negative number in their savings account, the team may not purchase any items, even if they land on a square or pick a card that tells them to purchase an item. No credit is available. If a game piece lands on a space that requires a team to choose a wolf card or an expense card, fan the cards out in your hand and allow a team member to choose one. After they read it aloud and follow the directions, the card should be returned to you, shuffled back into the pile, and reused. Remember, all wolf cards offer a benefit and expense cards present a penalty. Each time a team passes the obedience school square, the final square before the start square, they automatically collect $50. They do not need to land on the square to collect the amount. They should record the activity on their individual savings account register and on the group savings account register at the front of the classroom. With 10 minutes of gameplay remaining, tell the students there will be one final round of play. Allow each team one more turn, beginning with the team that started the game with the highest dice total. This will be the team's last opportunity to purchase inventory or change the amount of money in their savings account. Once gameplay concludes, review each savings account register. The team that has a bone, bowl, collar, and lease, plus the most money in their savings account, is top dog. If the 70 minutes of gameplay concludes and no team has all 4 items in their inventory, each group should add the total of the cash from their savings account and the value of each inventory item they own together. Negative balances should be subtracted from the inventory total. The team with the highest value of cash and inventory will be declared the winner. In the case that all groups have a negative balance, the team with the least debt will be named the winner. Reward the winning team by inviting them up to the front of the room and presenting each team member with a top dog pencil. At the conclusion of the game, distribute the Fetch vocabulary quiz. This will look familiar to the students, as it's the same quiz they should have completed with their teacher before Fetch. Ask students to do their best in filling out the answers. The test will be used to reveal what students learned as a result of participating in Fetch. Once finished, collect the quizzes and give them to the teacher. The teacher will tally the scores, fill them in on the vocabulary quiz assessment sheet, and send them in to the Ohio Society. After the quiz, conduct a post-game discussion with the students. Begin by explaining that there are many different strategies for playing Fetch. Starting with the winning team, ask students to share their approach to playing the game. Some groups may have developed a plan, while others just played each round on the fly. Take a few minutes to explain why planning is a critical step for successful money management. Get the students thinking by asking some follow-up questions like, why was it important to use a savings account register? Why did the CPA volunteer audit the savings account register at the end of each team's term? Why is it important to save money? What challenges did you face while playing the game? Do you think some of those challenges could happen in real life? What did you learn about money management by playing Fetch? What are some things that happened during the game that you were not prepared for? How can you prepare for those things in real life? What happens when you don't have enough money in the bank to pay for your expenses in real life? Be sure to specifically address any questions or issues that may have come up while playing Fetch. As students answer questions, hand them a Fetch certificate. Conclude by allowing students to ask you questions and hand out the remaining certificates to students who did not receive one during the Q&A. If applicable, you may want to distribute refreshments at this time.
The Ohio CPA Foundation will reimburse you up to $25 per class for refreshments. Just keep your receipts and send them in with the form provided. It's a good idea to get your snack approved with the teacher in advance. Don't forget to take the Fetch Game Kit with you when you leave. Please return it to the Society using the return shipping label included in the game kit. Again, you will receive these instructions in the instruction packet included in your game kit. You may always contact the Society if you have additional questions.
Member volunteers are at the heart of the Fetch program and are fundamental to its overall success. Your participation broadens the reach of the program far and wide, taking it into classrooms all over the state. Thank you for your commitment to financial literacy education and for participating in Fetch. And finally, don't forget to have fun.